And Isaacs, a seasoned late model driver, was at the controls then. We are now moving down into turns 3 and 4 in anticipation of the start of the 1992 Shoney's Derby City 100 this time around. Les Vogt and George Koch on the front row. Chris Fisher puts the green flag out. And the 1992 Shoney's Derby City 100 is underway for Sportsman cars. And down the back straightaway, it'll be Les Vogt in car number 22 who jumps out into the lead. Kevin Gapehart along the inside of George Koch for second as they move down the front straightaway and back into turns 1 and 2. Again, Dean will watch the battle at second and see how it continues to develop. It's Gapehart with the inside advantage on Koch. He'll nail down the number 2 spot. George Koch runs at second. Chuck Barnes goes fourth on the field. And then at fifth, it's Keith Brewer. Going sixth and seventh, a spirited side-by-side battle between Joe Williamson Jr. and the number 90 of Rick Irwin as they race down the back straightaway. Irwin looks a little more speedier off the turns, and he ratchets up around the outside of Joe Williamson Jr. and begins setting sail now on top rookie contender Keith Brewer. The race is for fifth into turns 1 and 2. It's Brewer on the outside, on the inside, Irwin on the outside. And again, very early in the event, Rick Irwin begins working the outside. So does Rick Harris in car number 3, the Chardine Mechanical Racing Camaro, as he now sets sail on the top 5, along with Joe Williamson Jr., Mike Grisilius, and Scott Toohey.
All right, Scott Toohey, as you said, trying to make his way into the top 10 right now as he has got that number 38 Churchill Downs Racing Camaro on the move. We are 5 laps away in this 100-lap event. The number 22 of Les Vogt continues to be your leader, while the number 07 of Kevin Gapehart is back about 4 car lengths in second.
Trouble in turn number 2. It was the number 90 of Rick Irwin spinning around in the second turn area of the speedway. He is right now turning the car around, trying to remain on the lead lap. Drops down in the racing groove. He's 1 lap down. 6 laps now completed. Irwin now 1 lap down. It looks like a left rear tire is flat on that machine.
Right. Exactly, Frank Scott, as he has cut down that left rear tire, so he is precariously sitting there now, trying to make his way back to the pit so he can at least stay in the thick of things a little bit. 7 laps are away in this event. It's Chuck Barnes now inside the top 5 as he is currently running 4th. Barnes having to slow a little bit to get around Rick Irwin as he heads back to the pits.
8 laps now completed. Your race leader is the number 22 of Les Vogt. Kevin Gapehart in car number 07 runs at second. The 99 of George Koch goes third. At fourth, it'll be Chuck Barnes. And then rounding out that top 5, the number 04 of Keith Brewer. Going 6th now, it's Joe Williamson Jr., followed by the number 3 of Rick Harris. And then on back to Mike Grisilius, Sammy Price, and the number 38 of Scott Toohey. Last year's winner of this Shoney's Derby City 100 was Chuck Winders, and right now he is in single file just outside the top 10 in the running order.
That's right, he's running currently 11th on the field. Working our way on back in 12th position at the moment, it's the number 7 machine of Charlie Pierce. Right behind him we find the number 44 of Joe Lewis, then the number 2 of Alan Webb, and then Marshall Jaggers in car number 91, rounding out about your top 18 cars.
Right now, Les Vogt enjoys about a 3-car lane separation over Kevin Gapehart and George Koch as they raced out into turns 3 and 4. Gapehart is able to get into the turns a little bit harder than Les Vogt, and that's where he's able to make up some ground. Right now, the strategy would be for Gapehart to get around Les Vogt and establish the lead, because within a few short laps, they'll be reeling in some lap traffic here. As again, it looks like Doug Wicker in car number 81 slows on the front straightaway, and now Les Vogt, Kevin Gapehart, and George Koch will reel in those back markers a little bit faster.
So Doug Wicker pulling his car high into the back group there as he looks like he might be headed for the pits. 13 laps are down in the Shoney's Derby City 100. The number 22 machine of Les Vogt continuing to be your leader, while the 07 machine is second. That is Charlie Pierce in car number 07. George Koch running third with Chuck Barnes back a ways in 4th position. He's back about, we'll say 12 car lengths, and then you go about another 12 to find the 5th place running number 04, Keith Brewer.
2 laps ago, Rick Irwin made his re-emergence from the pit area, and he's back on the racetrack, although I believe he's about 5 or 6 laps down now in the field. And I tell you what, no way he's going to come back, but he's still running for championship points for 1992 because this is a point race. Your race leader into turns 1 and 2, and down the back straightaway now is Kevin Gapehart. He has gotten around Les Vogt And when Vogt came up on Pastor Ron Lasley to put him a lap down, Gapehart has made a maneuver around the 22 of Les Vogt to inherit the lead. He brings along the 99 of George Koch running at second, and then the number 22 of Les Vogt going third. At fourth, it's still Chuck Barnes, followed by the fifth place running car of Keith Brewer. But Brewer is about a half a straight away behind Chuck Barnes. Your race leader, Kevin Gapehart, the W.R. Martin Machinist, S&S Engine Replacement Parts, and A1 Engineering Chevrolet Camaro pacing this field out of turn number 4, and he's really in some heavy lap traffic as he reels in the number 32 of David Thornton. Made a little contact with him. Thornton spins around, and Gapehart remains your race leader, but his momentum was slowed down some, and George Koch, our second place car, was able to reel him in. Dean?
All right, coming across now, lap number 20, going down on the books. The number 32 of David Thornton still sitting there midway between turns 1 and 2 as he backs it off down into the infield. So it looks like we'll stay under green flag conditions here in our Chevy Derby City 100. 21 laps soon to be in the books for your leader. The number 07 of Kevin Gapehart as he comes across the start-finish line. Heading off into turns 1 and 2, George Koch Jr. right on his tail. Then you go back and ride the number 22 of Les Vogt in third. Chuck Barnes is currently running fourth on the wheel. Then back away to Keith Brewer, and he has got the number 53 of Joe Williamson right on his tail for position.
I tell you what, Dean, when you start 30 cars in the field, that's a lot of traffic, and it's a lot of extra traffic, and Kevin Gapehart just has to be patient and pick his way through as he looks to the outside now of the number 49 of Steve Miles out of turn number 4, and he'll hook up with Fred Kalin up around the outside of David Mack into turns 1 and 2. Gapehart now using the outside groove to do his passing in. Right now pulling up along the outside of Steve Miles, moving into turns 3 and 4. George Koch is just going to have to follow Gapehart on through. But again, 30 cars started this event. There's a lot of heavy traffic out there and a lot of opportunities for mistakes to be made. Dean?
We're almost 1/4 of the way through this event. So far, no cautions on the racetrack. As a large field that we had, you might expect early attrition, but they have done a very good job keeping things together.
Yeah, I'm impressed. 25 laps, that many cars, and we haven't seen a caution flag yet. And the race leader's doing a superb job of lapping traffic. Now Kevin Gapehart comes to the inside of Fred Kalin on the front straightaway. And again, George Koch right there with him on his back bumper. Gapehart to the inside of Kalin. He'll be very easy coming out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway, not to get his car into Kalin's. As again, he attempts to put Kalin a lap down coming out of turn 4, and he just about pulls completely around now going into turns 1 and 2. George Koch still at second, going third. It's the number 22 of Les Vogt. He's encountering some lap traffic. He's got Chuck Barnes now joining him. So Chuck Barnes has begun his assault on third place, and we'll continue to watch this as the race progresses.
Right now we got a battle for position back in about 6th position. Well, Rick Irwin was up there next alongside of Jody Williamson, but his car has gotten caught by the 08 of Curtis T as he drops off the pace quite quickly. So we find Jody Williamson now in sole possession of 6th place. On the number 3 of Rick Irwin pulls down 7. Sandy Price in 8th position at the number 02 machine. Edwin Scott Toomey back now in 9th as he battles with Rick Irwin for position, who is currently 10th on the field.
Rick Irwin is about 6 laps down to the field. He had to make that unscheduled pit stop. Chuck Winders will be your 10th place running car as the McDonald's Restaurant Jasper Engines and Transmission Chevrolet Camaro has not made a charge to the front, but then again, 30 laps is very early in this event, Dean.
All right, so with Rick Irwin being down a few laps, and that'll put the number 8 of Chuck Winters on the inside of the top 10. Back in 11th position, we find the number 44 of Joe Lewis. Charlie Pearson, car number 7, looks to be about 12th at the moment, with Marshall Jaggers holding down 13th position. Then on back to Alan Glenn, car number 2, and the number 1 of Donnie Sullivan, rounding out your top 15.
Your race leader, Kevin Gapehart, out of the nearby Yorktown subdivision, just about a mile or two from the Louisville Motor Speedway. He is a former crew member on the All-American Challenge Series circuit and a former crew member on the ARCA and Winston Cup circuit. He has taken up driving himself the car here at Louisville Motor Speedway a couple of summers ago. He's in his 3rd season in Sportsman Division racing here at Louisville Motor Speedway, and he is the general manager of S&S Engine Replacement Parts. The car is sponsored by W.R. Martin Machinist, S&S Engine Replacement Parts, and A1 Engineering, a very noble Racing Chassis Company out of Brooks, Kentucky. He's your race leader and right now owns about a 6-car length separation now between himself and George Koch, the 2-time mini stock champion here at Louisville Motor Speedway, and the Hooters restaurant, Collins Chevy Geo, Mid-America Auto Auction, and Wave 3 sponsored Chevy Camaro. Les Vogt finally shakes free of that lap traffic. He's at 3rd place, and right now he's got a great battle with the number 5 of Chuck Barnes as they move out of turn 4.
So it's the number 07, Kevin Gibson, continuing to be your leader in that 07 car. We're 36 laps down, coming up on 37 this time across. So he is out in front by about 5 or 6 car lengths over George Koch. Then you go about 10 car lengths back to find the number 22 of Les Vogt. Right behind him is the number 5 of Chuck Barnes holding down 4th. And 5th position now being held by the number 53 of Joy Williamson. 37 laps are away in this event, the Shoney's Derby City 100. As your leaders make start-finish line once again. The cars are well bunched in the back of the field from about 5th place on back. That's where all the back markers are. Kevin Gayhart continuing to work a little bit of lap traffic as he makes his way around the inside and past Ron Lasley. And now looking for the number 29 of Green Blue to put them at least a lap down on the field tonight. 39 laps away in this event. Kevin Gayhart still out in front of that WR Marketing Construction Company racing Camaro. George Koch is setting patiently right now in that 2nd place position. He may be making the move a little bit later on down the road. We'll have to watch and see how things unfold.
Kevin Gayhart at car number 07, your race leader, moving out of turn number 2. He'll look to the inside of Kelly Goodlett, the driver of the J&R Salvage Asbestos Removal, Gene Stonentan Racing Chevrolet, and Kelly Goodlett going at least 1 lap down to our race leader, Kevin Gayhart, in the W.R. Martin Machinist Company Racing Chevrolet Camaro. George Koch has backed off a few car lengths. Now he begins to tighten up on Gayhart, and that interval between 1st and 2nd place is about 4 car lengths as they move out of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway, Gayhart now looking to the inside on Mike Landhair, car number 43 in his first appearance here at Louisville Motor Speedway. Had an impressive qualifying run, and we believe that car will just get stronger and stronger as Mike has more time in it. Coming up on lap number 43 this time around, and Chuck Barnes surprisingly has dropped off, not dropped off the pace, but he has fallen about 6 car lengths behind Les Vogt, so that battle for 3rd place right now is no longer in jeopardy. Good race right now for the number 6 and 7 spot right now between the number 53, that's for 5th and 6th, excuse me, between Joe Williamson Jr. and the number 02 of Sam Price. They're bumper to bumper going into turns 1 and 2. And in front of our VIP luxury suite here tonight, in front of all our fine friends from Shoney's Restaurants enjoying the races from the comfort of that area of the track. And again, they are racing bumper to bumper out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. So Joe Williamson Jr. and Sammy Price are having a good run here tonight, Dean.
So we're 5 laps shy of the halfway point of our Shoney's Derby City 100 zone. We'll have to break away for a moment from this action as we pause for this radio timeout on the Collins Chevy Geo radio feature race of the night.
Coming up on the halfway point in the Shoney's Derby City 100, and your race leader is Kevin Gayhart at car number 07 out of Louisville, Kentucky, out of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. George Koch at car number 99 runs at 2nd, and then going 3rd, it's the number 22 of Les Vogt. Going 4th, it's Chuck Barnes, followed by the number 53. That's the Tumbleweed Tex-Mex Restaurants, Pipe Fitters Local 522, Kroger's Automotive, and Able Auto Parts Racing Chevrolet of Joe Williamson Jr. And right behind him, we have a former winner of this event. He took the title in 1988, Sammy Price. He is also the 1989 Sportsman champion, the Collins Chevy Geo, Mid-America Auto Auction, and Cardinal Insulation, Hot Country 103 Racing Chevrolet. Moving out of turn 4.
Our feature race after these commercial messages.
A half a lap away from the halfway mark, and Kevin Gayhart out of turn number 4 sees the halfway signal given to the field. So 50 laps down and 50 to go. And once again, an amazing job by these Sportsman Division drivers, as we have not seen a caution flag period yet. Moving down into turns 3 and 4, and Gayhart ratchets around on that steering wheel. He'll take a look to the outside of one of the top rookie drivers here in this division, Bruce Mingus, moving into turns 1 and 2. And down the back straightaway, and Mingus, the driver of the A1 Used Auto Parts Main Electric Company Racing Chevrolet, goes 1 lap down to our race leader. George Koch at 2nd place, reels in our race leader, and there's only about a 3-car length separation now going into turns 1 and 2. But Gayhart doing a super job of negotiating the lap traffic. Coming up on lap number 53 this time around. And again, the battle for third place is heated up out of turn 4. That's Les Vogt in car number 22. The Miami Valley Steel, Heitman Steel Products, and Roller Die and Forming Racing Chevrolet. Chuck Barnes driving the Robert Hobart Trucking Company, Barnes Auto Service, Frederick Auto Supply and Machine Shop, and Bibby's Barbecue Racing Camaro. Moving in on Les Vogt, and we'll have a battle for third place developing here shortly. Right now, the battle's for the lead on the back straightaway, and some careful negotiating in the lap traffic has netted George Koch the lead for the moment. Right now, as Kevin Gapehart was a little tied up behind David Thornton. George Koch caught Gapehart off guard. Now they're going to attempt to go 3 abreast into turns 3 and 4. And this time Thornton spins. David Mack collects him. Koch is your race leader. Gapehart runs at second. And a lot of scrambling going on down in turns 3 and 4. And I believe we'll see a caution flag period here very shortly.
All right, this caution situation coming up just as we arrive back for a commercial break. The number 32 of David Thornton is spun around in between turns 3 and 4. David Mack has collected the inside of him, and the cars really had to scramble to get around those two. We got a new leader since we last spoke. The number 99 of George Koch Jr. is out in front. We have the number 07 of Kevin Gapehart is now back in second. Les Vogt is running third.
Front row, the green flag is back out, and we're back to racing action. Directly behind them, we have 2 cars that are no longer on the lead lap and not in contention for the lead right now. And for the moment, they're blocking the path of Les Vogt and Chuck Barnes, who run at 3rd and 4th place respectively. And right now, with Koch out front, Kevin Gapehart a car length and a half behind, the battle right now is for 3rd place, Dean Taylor.
Exactly, as Les Vogt and Chuck Barnes continue to battle it out. They've got Bruce Minkus and Scott Heineman in front of them. A little daylight opens on the outside groove as Chuck Barnes takes advantage of it. Moving to the outside this time. They go 3 wide down the front straightaway as Chuck Barnes screens around the outside of Bruce Minkus. Les Vogt to the inside, and we're back to door handle racing for 3rd place position.
You almost have to go with whatever lane moves the first, and I tell you, these drivers didn't wait for either one of them. They split the difference around Bruce Minkus going into turns 1 and 2. It looked like Barnes had the momentum going into the 1st and 2nd turn, but his car got a little bit loose, and Les Vogt came right back to the inside, and he took over 3rd place. It's Barnes along with Joe Williamson Jr. now, battling for the number 4 and 5th place spot now going into turns 1 and 2. And the world's fastest burrito moves along the inside of Chuck Barnes to try to take over 4th, moving into turns 3 and 4. Sam Price is right there along with Scott Toohey.
Chuck Barnes going a little bit wide again, coming out of turn 4. That gives Williamson a little extra added momentum down the front straightaway. It's going to be a dogfight headed down the backstretch right now. Joe Williamson out about 3/4 of the length. But here comes Chuck Barnes pulling back up alongside of him again. And again, wide out of turn 4. Apparently he's got a little push coming out of that spot for some reason.
And he gives up the inside advantage to Joe Williamson Jr. He's right along the inside now, and Joe Williamson Jr. for the moment takes over the number 4 spot, but again, it's a seesaw battle for 4th and 5th as they move down the front straightaway. Meanwhile, directly in front of them, Les Vogt is right now trying to negotiate his way around Scott Heineman, a lapped car, and the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place machines are right there. Going 6th, Sam Price. 7th to Scott Toohey. 8th now to Joe Lewis. 9th to Rick Harris. And running 10th, there's Marshall Jaggers in the number 91.
Marshall had his share of problems earlier this evening as he broke an axle during practice. And I was in communication with him earlier. He said that he was able to get part of it fixed, but he would not have his positive traction for his efforts tonight. So he's only got one of those rear wheels turning instead of both of them like he would normally have.
He must have broke the ratchet in the rear end. If he's running a Ford floater type rear end, he may have broke the ratchet in it. Nonetheless, he's still motivating well. It looks like he'll go for 9th place, and he does so as Rick Harris, the 10th place car, spins around in turns 3 and 4. And right now, everybody getting around Rick Harris, and we may even avoid the caution flag period because Harris has now turned the car right way, and he could be headed back towards the pit area. The left rear tire flat on that machine, Dean.
So he goes a lap down as he heads towards the pit. 74 laps away, almost 3/4 of the way through this event. Your leader continues to be the number 99 of George Koch as he comes across the start-finish line. He has got Kevin Gapehart right on his tail, though. Kevin not letting him get too far away, although George has had the upper hand as far as horsepower is concerned ever since the restart of this event.
Well, he's had the better handling car. I don't know if it's a question of horsepower or not, but he's had a little bit better handling car. Right now, Kevin Gapehart has about 24 laps away from the checkered flag to figure out how to get around George Koch, and we've got a great two-car race. It's almost a full straightaway back to third place, where Les Vogt continues to battle with the number 5 of Chuck Barnes. And I'm telling you what, Dean, I'm very impressed with the runs of George Koch, Kevin Gapehart, and Les Vogt, because they could have only possibly been in this event for 2 years here at Louisville Motor Speedway.
Exactly. As we make our way around to lap number 78 right now, it's closest battle, I guess, would be back for third position, as the number 22 Les Vogt is trying to shake the number 5 of Chuck Barnes, who looks to the inside, looks to the outside, and unable to take advantage of it that time through turns 1 and 2.
For first and second place, it appears both cars are equally matched, as one cannot seem to get away from the other. And I tell you, it'll probably be the lap traffic that plays an important part if there is another lead change, because we'll find out who can negotiate it more successfully. They reel in on Terry Sissel going into turns 1 and 2. George Koch will look to the inside. Kevin Gapehart will probably follow him as they come out of turn 2. Now they look to the inside of the 41 of Pastor Ron Lasley, the WDRB Fox 41 Racing Chevrolet, and Gapehart follows Koch on through on the inside. Where they're going to probably have to make some decisions is when they find two fellas racing side by side for position. Then they'll have to decide which way to get around them, Dean.
Exactly, and they may find that here in just a moment. They're about 3 car lengths behind the number 32 of David Thornton, the number 30 of Bruce Mingus, who have got the inside and outside group tied up at the moment as they draw near, coming around now for lap number 83. George Koch Jr. still out in front with Kevin Gapehart running second. Les Vogt has managed to work his way through lap traffic and managed to stay ahead of the number 5 of Chuck Barnes, while Joe Williamson is now dropped in behind that freight train, and there comes Scott Tilley in 6 spots.
Okay, and they move out of turn number 4, and again, it's Bruce Mingus along with David Thornton who get passed along on the inside as they move to the outside to allow the race leaders through. As they move out of turns 2 and down the back straightaway, now Thornton resumes his battle with the number 30 of Bruce Mingus. Mingus was runner-up in the Oval Bomber Division point standings last year. David Thornton comes to us from the Figure 8 Racing Division. 85 completed. We're 15 away from a finish. And George Koch in car number 99, he's a 2-time winner of the Mini 50 here at Louisville Motor Speedway, in addition to taking 2 mini stock divisional championships here at the track. He looks for his first major event in sportsman competition. He is a former feature event winner in sportsman competition last year when he was running for Rookie of the Year, but he looks for his first major event in sportsman competition here tonight. As they move out of turn 4, he owns about a 3-car length separation between himself and Kevin Gapehart. Dean?
Of course, we are in the middle of the biggest race of the year for our sportsman division cars. George Koch right now out in front of that Hooters machine. Wade TV3 Collins Chevrolet, also a sponsor on the machine, as he comes across now for lap number 88 of the event. They made it through the lap traffic successfully. He managed to maintain his position ahead of Kevin Gapehart. But when we go back down to find Les Vogt still running out in front of the number 5 of Chuck Barnes. In fact, they're all single file down the back straightaway. You got Les, Chuck, Joe Williamson, and Scott Tilley for the top 6. Then you go back and find Sam Price only down 7. Joe Lewis in 8th position, with Marshall Jaggers currently running 9.
Quite possibly the best race on the track right now is for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, as they move down into turns 3 and 4, bumper to bumper. And right now it's anybody's guess as to who's going to come out on top on that deal. Kevin Gapehart, again, only about 2 car lengths behind George Koch as they move down the back straightaway. But directly in front of him, Dean, almost 20 cars at the end of that lead pack, the lead lap, and they're reeling in on some heavy lap traffic. This may ultimately decide the outcome of the race because we have less than 10 laps to go. It's the Hooters Racing Chevrolet Collins Chevy Geo Camaro out front. The W.R. Martin Machinist S&S Engine Replacement Parts Chevy Camaro running second, Dean, and they're moving in on lap traffic.
Well, it was back about 25 laps ago that lap traffic was the cause for our new leader, the number 99 of George Koch. So we'll have to see if it's going to play its hand again. As Frank Scott said, they're moving into quite a heavy field of lap cars there in front of them. They're making their way now, getting into the thick of things, heading off into turns 1 and 2. There's only 7 laps left in the race. We'll have to see if George Koch is able to hold on to things as they move down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4.
Kevin Gapehart got an incredible bite that time out of turn number 2 and really reeled in on George Koch for the lead. He drops back a little bit now as they move back into into turns 1 and 2, coming up on 6 to go now.
All right, looks like Rollins on the number 1 of Donnie Sullivan's cars. We saw him pull to the infield a little bit early and then make his way back out. See telltale sparks possibly coming from the brake assembly on the machine as you see him when he's heading off into the corners. Making their way through the lap traffic, they get around that first bunch, no problem. George Cook still out in front with Kevin Capehart running second. Les Vogt in third and Chuck Barnes in fourth position.
Joey Williamson will go fifth. At sixth, it's still Scott Dewey, and they're bumper to bumper out of turn number 4, and nobody giving or taking. Whoa, trouble going into turns 1 and 2. Chuck Barnes apparently blew an engine going into the first turn. A lot of oil laid down going into the first and second turn area. It was Barnes who was running at 4th place. It looked to us that he blew an engine going into the first turn and then caught up most of the cars behind him. We see David Thornton, who was not on the lead lap, along with Terry Sissel, who was also several laps down, and it looks like the 38 possibly, yes, of Scott Dewey. He was your 6th place running car. He was also caught up in the fray. But it was Chuck Barnes who blew an engine on the front straightaway, only 4 laps away from the finish of this event, and set up a multi-car accident into the outside retaining wall going into turns 1 and 2. All the drivers are moving around in that area of the track, and it doesn't look like we have any injuries. Dean Taylor?
Yep, that's right. That's good. Definitely that none of the drivers are hurt, and we'll give them a big hand for that as they climb out of their cars. You can see that big black streak of oil there starting green flag action. Chris Fisher's going to look him over. George Coke out in front, but he's got Pastor Ron Lastly between him and Kevin Gabehart. Pastor Ron moving up as they head off into turns 1 and 2.
Into turns 1 and 2, and first and second place get extremely loose going into the first and second turn. They straighten the cars out. They move down the back straightaway, and Kevin Gabehart has coming up on 4 laps now to chase down George Coke to take this prestigious race victory away. Don't know if it's going to happen, though. Coke leads into turns 1 and 2 by a car length and a half. He'll open it to about 3 car lengths on the back straightaway. Les Vogt still sits between, or right behind 2 lapped cars, Pastor Ron Lastly and Donnie Sullivan. He sits in the number 3 spot. He'll have a great battle in the final laps with Joe Williamson Jr. and Scott Dewey.
All right, those are your top 5. George Coke out in front, Kevin Gabehart second, Les Vogt third, Joey Williamson fourth, and Scott Dewey 5th on the field at the moment as they make their way through turns 3 and 4 across the start-finish line. We're 2 laps away here as lap number 98 goes down on the board for our Shoney's Derby City 100.
George Coke in full command of this event now as he has opened it up to 4 car lengths moving down into turns 3 and 4. He'll see the white flag this time around and prepares to add this prestigious event to his resume. A 2-time mini stock mini 50 event winner here at Louisville Motor Speedway, a 2-time mini stock track champion. A gallant effort by Kevin Gabehart here tonight, as does Les Vogt, but the double checkers go out to the number 99. The Joe Scroggum Racing Team will roll to victory in this major event here tonight.
Okay, so lap number 100 going on the board. George Coke Jr. is your winner. Kevin Gabehart was second. Les Vogt coming across third with Joey Williamson picking up fourth. Scott Dewey is registered as in the top 5 in this event.
Race fans, there he is, a 2-time mini stock track champion and only his 2nd summer in Sportsman Division.